Yes, your man, the Triple B. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Keep the vile, sickening, hateful haters away. That's right. Anyway, so I'm going for one more preview for the massive knockout chaos card, right? And that is Justin Huni versus Kevin Lerena. Intriguing fight. I mean, it's Lerena. I don't know. You know, he was, what's his name? Oscar Pistorius' friend. And I remember him back in 2012, right? When Pistorius killed Lerena, Riva Steenekamp, and claimed it was a mistake. My batty. There's so many holes in this story, but he eventually got nicked anyway. But yeah, so Kevin Lerena was in the bar chilling with Pistorius. Pistorius, blum, let off a round by mistake. He was always carrying guns. And they went into the hole of the restaurant. And Pistorius like, Kevin, you got to take the rap for me. You know, because I'm too famous. And Lerena was interviewed about that. And I remember he was in the UK. He was a cruiserweight at the time. And he goes, yeah, I'd really like to fight Anthony Joshua. He used it as his excuse of Rena Steenekamp getting murdered by his pal, Oscar Pistorius, as a reason to try and get a gay J fight. Obviously, it didn't happen. He was a cruiserweight then anyway, and unknown. I always thought he was pretty average, and I picked him to lose in a few fights, but he's done all right. I have to be honest with you. Now let's look at Kevin Lerena. So he's 6'1". Yeah. His last fight against Sinad Gashi, he won a unanimous points decision. He weighed 220. He weighed 222 against Riyad Merhi. He was, a decent cruiserweight. Riyad Merhi is, of course, lined up to fight Jared, the big bum Anderson. That was distance. And then probably his most well-known fight is against Daniel Dubum. Now, he got KO'd in 3 against Daniel Dubum, but Lerena put down Dubum 3 times in the first round. And with one punch. Like, he hit him, and he went over, and he got up, and he went over without getting hit. And he got up, went over again. Dubum was about to quit. And it was like Lerena just thought, oh, hang on, I've been paid to lose here. It was a very suspicious fight. He stopped throwing punches as soon as he hurt Dubum. That is very bizarre. So he can obviously dig when he wants to. I mean, he's actually only got 14 KOs in 32 fights. So that's less than 50% KO ratio, but he hurt Dubum badly. He's been fighting at heavyweight since 2020. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights. This is his 7th heavyweight fight. You know, he's packed on the juice. He looks muscled. No homo. He's quite a good-looking guy. You know, I don't know what his background is. I think his dad is from South America or something like that, and his mum's South African. But he's weighed in at 232, which is a lot bigger, right, than he has done before. That's an extra. He's put on an extra 13 pounds since his last fight against Sinad Gashi. Them PEDs must be clocking, man. Funnily enough, he was 230 against Dubum. So he dropped 10 pounds, and now he's put on an extra 12 pounds. So whatever. It's a bit weird. It's weird. It must have been off cycle for Gashi and Riyad Merhi. But he's back on cycle by the looks of things, allegedly. And he's fighting in a 10-rounder. It's only a 10-rounder against Huni, Justis Huni. Right? Now, if you look at Justis Huni, Justis Huni is quite a touted amateur. Yeah, he's 6'4", so he's got a high advantage. He's only 24 years old, right? Whereas Lerena is 31. But 31's prime age for heavyweight, to be honest with you. Huni was a decorated amateur, a very good amateur. He was, he lost to Bakodir Jalolov on points in the Asia Oceania qualifying tournament, so he didn't go to the Olympics. But he has a long international career, you know, especially as a youth, you know, because he turned pro quite young. Yeah, I think he's 20 years old when he turned pro. So, you know, he's 20 or 21 when he turned pro. So you know, he's a young guy, and he's considered a big prospect. However, weirdly, he's been fighting right, as a heavyweight. Well, super heavyweight as amateurs as a heavyweight. He generally weighs 240 pounds, 235, 240 pounds. He's weighed in at 243 for Lerena, so he's got a 10-pound weight advantage. But he's got a 3-inch height advantage as well, right? The weird thing is about Huni, for a guy who stopped a few people with the amateurs, he's got only a 50% stoppage rate himself as a pro, right? 8 wins. 4 wins by way of KO, no losses, no draws. In his first fight, he knocked out Faiga Opelu, right? So that's actually a pretty solid first opponent. This guy was 13-1-1, and he later boxed Joseph Parker. Yeah. The second fight, he bought an unbeaten guy. He KO'd him in 4. Third fight, an unbeaten guy. Only a couple of fights. KO'd him in 1. And then he started to go the distance. So he's gone the distance. And then against a guy called Christian Zoya, he fought Paul Galen, the rugby player who, a bit dodgy, who turned pro and beat Lucas Brown, although it was very dodgy. Looked very much like a thrown fight. But Paul Galen, no, it wasn't that good. He was all right. So he good on Galen to have taken that fight, really. He got stopped in 10 rounds. And he was more or less outclassed by Huni. But no, I don't know, man. I don't really rate Galen. He's tough, but he's not all that, man. I'll give Huni credit. From early on, he's fought decent opponents. Joseph Goodall was tough, solid, was unbeaten at the time. He won clearly, unanimous decision. And Kiki Toaleatule won unanimous decision. Another tough. I'm assuming he's from Samoa. He's from New Zealand, but I assume he's got Samoan blood. Them Samoans. You just know you're going to get a tough guy. And in the last fight, Andrew Tabiti, 10 round. Tabiti had 1 loss, which was a stoppage against Uniel Dorticos at cruiserweight. So he's a world-class cruiserweight. He went up to heavy, and Hunis beat him pretty clearly on points. So to me, this says Hunis win. No? Sorry, Huni win. Huni wins. Justis Huni wins. A Huni win. On points for over 10 rounds. Lerena's proved himself to be pretty tough, apart from getting blown out by Dubum. But, Dubum's a big puncher. I don't know, man. I don't know. My immediate thought is Huni wins. It's whether or not he stops Lerena. And he hasn't got as I said, it's only a 50% stoppage rate Huni's got, but he's been fighting good guys, and I think he can punch. He can still definitely punch, despite the fact his last 3 fights have gone the distance. So I don't know. The weird thing is, Boxing News going for Lerena upset, which is a surprise. I don't really know why they've gone for that. I find that a very odd prediction, but they say there's an intriguing fight. This is, it's Declan Taylor, who don't know shit about boxing, to be honest, but he knows about football, and he's got a huge head. He looks like he's done HGH. He looks like a white Klingon, right? But the white Klingon says Lerena, who famously dropped Dubum 3 times, has been part of Fury's camp in Saudi and will get the chance to put all the preparation into practice. And the experienced Lerena might just know too much for Huni and nick a points win. I don't think this Taylor's really looked at Huni. He doesn't see what experienced amateur Huni was. Right? This is a strange one. I'm going for Huni. Points win or maybe a stoppage in about 8. That's what I'm going for. I don't know where. I quite like a brave pick, especially when you're out there in the press. So I respect Declan Taylor's brave pick for Lerena to win on points, and it's not impossible, but I don't see it. I don't think that and he's talking about how experienced Lerena is, and I just don't think that Declan Taylor has looked into. He's looked into to Huni's quite long amateur career at a high level. So, I'm going to Huni win or stoppage in around 8 rounds.